Okay, we're recording now. So, hey everybody, if you didn't catch the last meeting or you didn't get to watch the recording, I'm William, and today we're going to be talking about aristocrats. And actually, I'll pull up the last meeting slides. So, yeah, like going along the same lines, since if you didn't get to watch the recording, you probably need to catch up a little. Aristocrats are just basically where you have a message that you want to say, like if I want to say hello, for example, every unique letter in hello would get replaced with something else. Like my example here is kind of stupid because I have E, but it's easy to see because in this aristocrat, what I'm trying to say is E, but I'm writing down F, because F is going to replace every E and L is going to replace every A. So like that's the basic rundown. So I'm just going to jump back to this meeting now. Before we get too far into it, make sure you join the Google Classroom. It's where I'll post meeting slides, meeting recordings, I guess any homework, stuff like that. And the highlighted and blue bolded code is the one you want to use. So 66 LAP4. Yeah, I'll just pause right here for a little bit since I don't think everybody has joined yet. And actually, I'll post these slides to the Google Classroom right now, so you can follow along if you want to. All right. So I'll just type it in the chat if you need it for later. And we can move on after that. So it's just a little bit of a look ahead. Really, Codebusters is kind of easy to learn because the rules make it super clear what you have to do and what you don't have to do. So each week I just kind of have one or two related ciphers to learn about. So if it's like something kind of abstract and like hard to get a grip on at first, like maybe Biconian might be, I just have it alone so we can spend the full hour on it. But Caesar and Apbash are like super similar and they're pretty simple to understand. So I have them together. Same thing with like Pollux and Morbit. They're a little bit harder because it's like Morse code, but they're really similar because they both rely on Morse code. So I just put them together. So going left to right and then up to down, that's our schedule. So the 3 means week 3 because next week would be week 3. And our last lesson would be week 11, which right now I just have set up for a review. I guess we could do like one of each cipher or something together, but mostly it's just set up for whatever you guys want to talk about. And the reason I have Hill and RSA starred is because I don't think Hill is in Div B, and I know for a fact that RSA is not in Div B. They are Div C ciphers, so I mean, Codebusters is rotating out in Div C, so we probably won't have to do them, so I can replace that week with something else, but if we ever wanted to, I could teach them. Okay, so we're getting into Aristocrats now. Okay, before we go farther, does everybody see like annotate in their like hotbar in Zoom? It has like a pencil icon. No, okay. That's not good. Okay. Maybe if I share a whiteboard, I have to enable annotations. All right, sorry, I'm kind of bad at Zoom. Do you know how I can enable annotations? I kind of want us to all like work together on some of these practice problems that I have set up. All right, 1 second. I'll stop sharing and I'll figure it out. Oh, okay. I have to share my screen first. Got it. All right, you know what? I won't waste any more time. I'll figure it out for the next meeting, and we'll just add a little more time towards the end again. But this time, I guess we can just do the same thing as last meeting where you guys call it out and I can write it down. Okay, so these are like, oh, we went too far. Okay, these are the types of the aristocrats. So what we went over a little bit last meeting was the normal ones. So that's what I was talking about, like super briefly at the beginning of this one, where you just have one letter replacing another letter and nothing's misspelled. All the spaces are the same. So if I was like saying hello world, I would have a 5-letter word and then a space and then a 5-letter word and then a space. So the lengths of the words don't change. The positioning of the spaces don't change. It's just you replace a letter with a letter. Sometimes people will write aristocrats with errors, and that just means some words are misspelled. They have to tell you that they're misspelled words, though. Otherwise, it's just kind of misleading. So there are like different types of ways that they could do it. So one way is they just misspell words. Like you're typing an essay on your computer and you just hit a bunch of random keys on accident. So they could do like dat instead of that, or really anything you could misspell a word. So like instead of saying then like THEN, you could do like THENN, like you hit the N key twice by accident. They could pretty much do anything in that first category. You would just have to, be really careful not to accidentally assume something and then mark down a letter. Another way they could do an aristocrat with errors is they substitute homophones in. So we went over last meeting how there's only 2 possible 1-letter words in English. So that would be I and A. In these types of aristocrats with errors, a lot of the times they'll replace like the letter I, as in like myself, with I, as in like eyeball. It's actually like, it seems weird, but it's actually really helpful because I has a really specific pattern because it has the same letter on each end and then a different letter in the middle. And it's a 3-letter word. There's really nothing in English that looks like that except like did, like DID, did, but that doesn't really appear in quotes that much. So the third type, I've seen this on like maybe 1 or 2 tests. It's just instead of like typing in actual English and misspelling something or like substituting homophones, they just type in like texting language. So that could be like LMAO, LOL, Keck, things you would see in like a Twitch chat or something. But you probably wouldn't have to worry about it. And the last type of aristocrat, it's called a xenocrypt. We're going to spend an entire meeting on this, probably. Basically, xeno means like foreign, and crypt is just like cipher. So it's talking about a cipher written in a foreign language. Hold on, let me release this poll. All right, if you guys can take the time to answer that poll. So we're only supposed to be doing Spanish ciphers for xenocrypts because like I said before, xeno means foreign, so it includes any kind of language. Like For example, it could be in Swedish, but for the sake of Science Olympiad, they're only allowing Spanish. Okay. So not many people have taken Spanish. That's what I kind of assumed. So we won't go too far in depth. Really, when we get to that meeting, I'll just give like a bunch of hints and you can just use some strategies that overlap between English and Spanish to solve it without really knowing what it means. Because before I took Spanish, that's what I had to do too. All right. So getting into strategies, these are for normal aristocrats. So just recapping, nothing's weird, just normal. One letter replaces another. So like we were talking about before, there is the frequency analysis, etal and Shirtalu, that's just how I like to say it. It's not the exact order, I think, of the frequencies of the letters, but it's pretty close. Basically, E is the most common letter in English. That's undisputed. It's just a fact. And then as you go further to the right, the letters become less common. E, T, A, O, I are like all pretty similar in frequency, I guess, but like after N and S, it kind of starts to drop down by a little bit more. So a way you could use this in solving is if there's like, say there's 34 of one letter in this cipher, and the next most common has like 10. There's like a 99.9% chance that the letter that has 34 of them will map to E because E is just that common in English. So moving on, word patterns. I think we saw these in a couple of the practice ones we did last meeting where the word patterns popped up like that, where you have a 4-letter word with 2 of the same letters on each end and different letters in the middle. You can kind of like cross this with frequency analysis because T, like we see up there, is the second most common letter. So if you have a 4-letter word that has the 2 ends the same, like the front and the back, and the front and the back are both super common, then you can be like almost 90% sure that it's that. Another way you can like further check is that if the 3rd letter is super common, then it's like almost definitely that because A is the 3rd most common letter, super common. Another really prevalent word pattern is every. Sorry, I just need to get rid of this poll on my screen. Oops. All right. So another common pattern is every. The way you can recognize this is that the 1st and the 3rd letter, super common because E is the most common letter in the alphabet. And then the 2nd letter and the last letter. So V, you almost never see in English. Y, same thing, unless like the quote has you or your or something. So if your 2nd and 5th letter are like not common at all, and the 1st and 3rd letters are super common, then it's probably every. And lastly, there's word frequencies. This one, really, you only use if you're a little bit stuck. If you see a 3-letter word that keeps popping up like multiple times in a quote, it's probably that's the only thing you would use it for probably. And tips when you're starting out. So this is basically just like how to start a cipher, because after you have like enough letters filled in, it kind of solves itself. But when you're starting out, you want to look for 1-letter words first because those can only be A or I. And then contractions also help because you can kind of divide them into 2 types. I guess there's more than 2, but it's commonly 2 types. There are the contractions that end with T and those that end with S, and the other ones are just like exceptions, basically. The ones that end with T, if you think about it, the letter that comes before the apostrophe has to be an N, because like just start saying all the contractions that end with T. It's like wouldn't, couldn't, shouldn't, don't, can't, won't. Like it always goes N apostrophe T. So you can sometimes guess that, and it can be really helpful. The ones with S at the end don't follow any kind of pattern like that because they're just possessives, right? So it can have any kind of pronoun before the apostrophe, but based on the number of letters that comes before the apostrophe, it'll also help. because like if it ends in T, but there are 3 letters before the apostrophe, it can only be like don't, can't, or won't. And that can narrow it down a little bit. And then I guess one of the last tips is that if you have a comma and then like a 3-letter word after it, it's usually and or but, because they're just, they're conjunctions and they work that way when we speak. The one way you can see whether it's and or but that comes after the comma is by looking at the frequency of the first letter in the word, because A is super common, B almost never appears. Or you can look at the frequency of the last letter, because T is super common, but D almost never appears. Okay, so I'm just going to do an example. So I'll annotate. And if you weren't here last time, basically what we did is we just like you type suggestions to me in the chat, and I'll just talk about like why they're good or why you might be missing something, I guess. All right, so remember, let's start with 1-letter words. K is probably A, N is probably I. Those are really good guesses, actually. I'm just going to I'm going to point out a couple things, basically, and say how you can, like when there are 2 different 1-letter words, how you can differentiate between what's I and what's A. Before getting into like word patterns that are too complex, I guess, there's this word right here, and oh shoot, my drawing's not on. Oh, that's the wrong slide, my bad. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it too. But I was going to point out this word. This can help you decide whether N is A or I and whether K is A or I. But yeah, usually if a quote starts with a single letter, it's going to be I, because like they're talking in the first person, right? K is I, N is A. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Thanks. So I'll just fill in I's and A's. Yeah, there are a lot of options for 2-letter words that start with A or I. Shoot, the chat is kind of covering the top right of this, but I'll just fill in the other stuff. I think, yeah, that's actually a super good guess. One way you can confirm that is that K is like not super common at all in the alphabet, and I think, yeah, there's not that many Ks. It actually is, I think. Nice job. NC is Anne. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, W is a vowel. That's a nice catch. This is actually a common word pattern that appears. I haven't talked about it yet, but it's something you might want to just like keep in the back of your mind after we find out what it is. Where else should we look? Okay, if you guys don't have anything else, since I guess there's not much else to go on, I can give a hint about like this section because these are two common word patterns. There are a lot of W's. What do you think that means? Yeah, nice. Yeah, it does match up. E is a vowel. And even, nice. Z equals V, yeah. Sorry, I'm not reading that earlier. Okay. An even letter. That's a good guess. I think there's only two words that could be. It does end in R. Yeah, okay, I'll just fill that in. Yeah, it is even better. Because like if you look at the, I guess like the flow of the sentence, it's talking about like this is better than this. So it's an even better. Oh, that's weird. There's only one R. Okay. Where should we go from here? There are two double G's. Yeah, I guess I think this word is probably the next step for us. Well, so like we know G has to be a consonant, right? Because we can't have like A and then a double vowel. So let's just think about consonants that could fit here. Bass, yeah, I think it could fit, but if we like cross-reference it with over here, I don't think any word this long ends in like T bass, right? Yeah, ball. Nice. And then that should like give a hint about what this word is. Football, yeah, nice. Everybody's catching on. KQ is if. Yeah. Back, yep. Is ES. Yeah, it is. Wait, how'd you get that? Oh, kicks back. Okay, I did not see that. Yeah, it is someone. Should? Oh, you're on the right track. It's not the same number of letters, but yeah, would and could both appear. So up here is would, and down there is could. So we just have this letter left, or like this letter, but this word. It's not name, because see, we used N right here, right? Just think about what the quote is about. Yeah, game, because it mentions football, so it has to like somewhat follow the same subject. Yeah, nice job. All right. I think football would become an even better game if someone could invent a ball that kicks back. Okay, interesting quote. All right. And we have one more normal example. This one, I guess, yeah, there is a one. Oh, did I make that up? No. I think I found it on cryptograms.org. There are a lot of weird quotes on there. Okay, so this one, it does have a one-letter word. There's also a contraction you can look at, and at the beginning, there's I don't think we'll get the first two words right away, but that's like also a common word pattern where you have two-letter words right after each other, and they both start with the same letter. Okay, never mind. We did get it right away. Yeah, it is. If is it. Yeah. So usually it's either it is or if it. Uh, the reason it's not usually is it is because if you say is it at the beginning of a sentence, it makes it a question, right? And usually quotes aren't questions because they're like famous statements. So yeah, and the reason you can tell it's not if it is because L is really common, right? And F isn't a super common letter, but T is. So I guess we can just start with that. B is A, yeah, nice. Since you eliminated the possibility of it being I. Oh, I have a lot of necessary marks on here. Okay. LF is 2? Yeah, nice. Because the only two-letter word with T starting it is 2. It could be TV, but usually people aren't that mean. I forgot a B. Is it in the second line? The chat is covering up the last word in the second line for me. Oh, never mind. I see it. I got it. Okay. Yeah, and is in here. You just want to make the right guess as to which one it is. I just realized I'm writing on the top and the bottom. Okay, I'm going to start writing on only the bottom and the first row. Yeah, it's after a comma, so I would guess that this one is and. I don't think it's an. Yeah, because F is O, right? Oh, why do I keep doing that? I keep switching directions. All right, where should we look at? I guess try finding E. Yeah, it is the. Oh, whoops, I missed the V. Take, LBUN. Yeah, I do think it is taken on. Oh, to take on, yeah. I was talking about this one here, but same idea. Good, or what? I think it is the. Oh, okay. It is good. The reason it's good is just because, like, if you just think about like regular conversation, would probably doesn't appear much, right? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Thanks. U. There shouldn't be that many U's. I'll start filling in these then. Oh, there is one word that maybe comes to mind that starts with an A and ends with an E. Ape, yeah, ape does work, but it's probably not like for the same reason as would. It's probably not in the quote, right? Uh, it's near the place in the alphabet that P is. Like, if you just like, yeah, R. There's actually, yeah, there's more A something E words than I thought there were, but it is R. No, don't worry about it. Okay, so if we have R and then there's a word before it, what do we know about the word before it? Like, why did we say, yeah, I was going to say, why did we say R instead of is? It has to be plural, so there's probably an S at the end. Yeah, answers, nice. Wait, I completely spelled answers wrong. Okay. Wait, what just, wait, no, it's not answers. Hold on. I fooled myself. Reaction, yeah. Oh, since we kind of solved this without having to look at the word and just filling in from other words, but I just want to talk about this. There is a really common pattern because you have the third and the fifth letter matching, and they're super common. And if you have like a contraction after it, it has to be theirs or like theired, like ending in a D, but usually it's theirs, ending in an S. Bad, yeah. Always, yeah, that's actually a good guess. This is also like kind of a recognizable word pattern. It's when the first and the fourth letter match up in a six-letter word, and they have to be like kind of common. All right, we're almost there. Fe of, yeah. It is the roll of, yeah. Good. I think everything we know is filled in. or at least it should be. What we have left is just stuff we haven't looked at yet. Okay. Probably let's look at this word. Isn't B isn't the DB? Oh yeah, I did miss that. My bad. Yeah, it was one. Nice. So we know H has to be a vowel, right? And I think there's only like one vowel left. Yeah, powerful. And then that fills this in. Can we see what this word is? I think it's the only one left. Journalist is a good guess, but we have used one of the words in, or one of the letters in journalist already. It's basically journalist though. There's just a one letter difference. I'll just fill in the J. Try reading the quote to yourself. It is the role of good journalism. Yeah, because it had to be like an abstract noun, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but it couldn't be like a person, if you know what I mean. All right, nice job. That was the last example we're gonna do for regular aristocrats. I'll assign something just like as a refresher for next class. And what we're gonna look at next is how people like commonly misspell aristocrats on purpose. It'll probably be like pretty helpful. For the most part, yeah, it was fun. We'll do it sometime again. Don't worry. Yeah. So this is just like building on the tips. So even when words are misspelled or like words are replaced or something like that, frequency doesn't change because we're still speaking in English, right? No matter like how bad the English is, it's still English. So Itau and Shirtaloo. The thing with word patterns and aristocrats with errors though is that you can't rely on them too much because, for example, let's say I want to say dead, like dead as in not alive, like DEAD. It might be misspelled as like DED, and that has like three letters, and the first and third are the same, but you won't know what it is because that's not a common word pattern. So like that's the reason you probably don't want to start out with word patterns when you're doing aristocrats with errors. For the most part, you're just doing it normally. It's just that it's hard to make guesses. Like if you remember going back to the last example we did, we guessed like always, and it is okay. It is a pretty safe guess, but not necessarily always. Uh, we made a couple of other guesses, but basically you just want to be super careful before you make those guesses, and you want to cross-check with other words in the cipher to make sure what you're saying actually makes sense and doesn't like mess up the rest of the quote. Okay, and like I talked about before, keep out for ABA because it's probably I. And how you make sure for that is that the first and the third letters are super common, and then the middle letter is not common at all. That's how you'll confirm that it's I. Okay, so I think this is our first hinted one too. So basically, it's a song lyric, but it's misspelled. And I guess if you have a good memory, maybe you know some songs from 2012. But first, I think we can start off with this. Yeah, nice. Uh, okay, I made this a little bit hard because C is actually kind of common in this quote. C as in Y, but it is I. Is CTA U? Yeah, it is U. It's a good guess. I mean, everything feels like a random guess at first, but if you think about it, three-letter word that starts with Y is like yes or you, and we already used E, so it kind of has to be you. So nice job. XH. Yeah, I think it is me. Yeah, nice job. SHH. Oh, the reason it can't be C, if it wasn't a misspelled aristocrat, it has to be C. Or like a B, as in like bumblebee, but that probably doesn't happen a lot. But the reason it can't be C is that S can't substitute itself. Yeah, like Irene said. Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry, I kind of tricked you. It's not me at the end. Yeah, it is B. I'll fill it in for now, but in the future, I probably just wouldn't guess that because it could be like a lot of things, especially since it's misspelled. It's also weird that B appears this many times in a quote, but the extra EH is probably a misspelling. Is IC by? I don't think so because we used B already, right? So what other word that's two letters do you know that ends in Y? That can't be by. My, yeah. Sierra, if you're talking about this as Y, that's a really good guess if it wasn't misspelled, but sadly I did misspell that word. So I can't fill in Y for that one. For this one, just as a hint, I don't think I actually like misspelled anything. I think I put in homonyms. So I have I, and then I substitute a couple of the words. Yeah, it is met. Is IFC May? Yeah, nice. Wait, where is NFC? Oh, at the beginning? It's not May, sadly. Is NS. Hmm. Okay, let's just try. Let's say the beginning of this out loud because I feel like you guys should know this song, right? So it's something I something met you. Okay, you know what? That probably doesn't help, but it's okay. Ethan, what makes you say hey? Okay, yeah, it's Call Me Maybe. It is hey. Yeah. Hey. Okay, I'm gonna leave this since it's not super obvious. And this is okay. I'm also going to leave this because it's misspelled. Crazy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is, but ooh, something. I must be missing something. Here's, yeah, it is here's. So, but here's my, oh, just search up the lyrics, man. You gotta memorize them. You can't search them up on a test. But here's my numb. Yeah, it is numb. Yeah, it is call, since Sastan didn't call me, maybe. Number, yeah. Can we figure out what K is? Or Q, I guess. I was talking about this and this, by the way. So, okay. We used H already. Soap. That I feel like I would accept that if you were using soap, but technically that's not what I put. Oh, there's a song called 2012. I didn't know. Sorry. It's KJ. Yeah. Hey, I just met you. Soak. Yeah. Hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Yeah. So this is one of the examples where I guess like besides this, like those aren't words, right? But besides that, everything else is just substituting homophones, and it's not necessarily misspelled. But over here, this is like not English. But nice job. I think we have one more example of what is it? Aristocrat with errors. All right. Can it be changed to 2 hours? I mean, I wish, but I think there could be another class after this. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I wish it could be longer too. We usually run out of time before we get to do a lot of practice. Uh, TVT is I. Yeah, I think so. Wait, there's a TRT too. Okay. Here, cross. In order to figure out whether TVT or TRT is I, so you're looking at this word, cross-reference with this word. So like remember when there's are there errors? Yeah, there are in this one. Sorry, I didn't clarify. So remember if you have like two letters after a contraction, T is D. Wait, what? T is. Okay, never mind. You know what? Okay. So you see, I'm just gonna stick with the like looking for I strategy. So we're debating whether this is Y or this is Y, right? Because we think T is definitely E, because we're saying either TVT or TRT is I. Like I is the word. Sorry if that's confusing. So we see that V pops up here, and we see that like R pops up here for some, like for instance. So let's assume that TVT is I. What word could this contraction be if TVT is I? MT could be VE, yeah. Or there's something else it could be. Yeah, it could be you've or it could be your. But anyways, like the point is that if V is Y, then this opens up like some contraction that actually makes sense. Whereas if R is Y, we like won't be able to put U in the contraction. So that's why TVT is I. Okay, I'm gonna erase this. Why are the top line and the E never writing? That's annoying. Would it be certain that VIP is you? Yeah, just because when there's an aristocrat with errors, they'll be nice enough to give you like, I guess the obvious words won't be misspelled, just so that like you don't mess up from the get-go. They'll just misspell like some of the other words. Yeah, you are the VIP. Oh, that's not good. The chat's covering it again. FT is me. Where is FT? Oh. Yeah, I don't think we can make the guess yet, right? Because it could be like me, we, be, he, or if it's misspelled, it could even be like C. Um, I think I think it's an actual quote. I don't remember the answer to it. Like obviously it's misspelled from the actual quote, but I think it's like something someone actually said. Eve. I think it could be. Okay, I don't want to end up erasing a bunch of stuff, so I'll just like I'll put a V question mark here and we can reference it. But let's look at this. What two things can M be? R and V. Okay, what does frequency seem to suggest? Okay, actually, wait. I can't see because like my camera's covering it, but can somebody tell me how many times M appears in the quote? I just can't see the frequency table. Twice? Okay, so it's probably V, right? Because R, if we say like Itau and Shirtaloo, R pops up, even if it's in the Shirtaloo, but V never pops up. So R is more common. So we're going to say that M is V. Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, we're going to say M is V. I just don't want to say something wrong. Okay, that looks kind of wrong. Okay. Yeah, that looks slightly wrong. Yeah, you know what? We're going to say it's R. Okay, this is an instance where you can't completely trust. But it's a good thing that you guys can see that like a four-letter word probably doesn't end in V. Have I filled everything in? CTYM could be here. Yeah, it could. Is UWVY? At the end? I don't think so, because like ending a sentence with Y kind of like if you end your sentence with Y when you're saying something, like you're leaving something to be said, right? And it's not a question because we have a period. So I don't think it's Y. All right, you know what? I'm just going to look for something else we can go off of since we're kind of at a roadblock right now. The reason I don't think FT is me or B is because like this would have to be like if we fill an F, this would have to be an M or a B, right? So I'm leaning towards he. Yeah, we's also a good guess, but once again, like if I put like a W here, something WE something, I don't think that can be a word, right? So it's probably he. Because like letters can come before H and make sense. R is T. I think something else is T actually. Oh, were you thinking like eat? Okay, never mind. I was looking at the top right and I thought you were thinking like ETE could be a homophone for EAT. Oh, looks like we're a little running out of time, but I don't think it's E. Here, let's look at this. R can't be V. Yeah, it does look like that. Okay, there's actually, this is the problem with misspellings. It's just like you have so many possible options. You just have to like be super careful before you make any guesses. That's why I didn't fill in V. Where are you seeing there? Oh, the reason it can't be there is because the third and the fifth letter don't match up. V is Y. Oh, I did miss that. Okay. Oh, this is a homophone. N is S? Where is that? Actually, I think N probably is S. Yeah, I'm just like I don't want to mess this up by accidentally guessing the wrong thing, so I just won't put it for now. Um, yeah, time. That's what I was going for there. It's a little bit hard to find. There should be one more E. Oh, here it is. What would the double D be? You know what? I think you were right on N is S because this is plural. And then I think, okay, I'm just going to fill this in. I think it's less. And then we have this. What could this be? It could pretty much only be one word. Both is actually a good guess. When you have something ending in TH, it's pretty much only going to be both or with. Okay, so when we're looking at UO, the reason I think it's not at is because it's hard to end a sentence with at, right? But it's like much easier to end a sentence with it. And since we talked about this, I'll just put with, since it's not. What's time? Oh, time is like an herb, but yeah, I was meaning for it to be a homophone for time, like time passing, like a clock. Yeah, D is L. I knew I was missing something. Will come. Yeah, the time will come. What is this? When? Yeah. When owl. No, we used O. Sorry, I was about to say you were right, but I corrected myself. I don't know. Let's probably not guess that, right? Because we know for a fact it's misspelled, so it's just gonna lead us down a not so pleasant path. So let's look somewhere else. Okay, here, we can do this. We know that Y has to be a vowel because double S comes after it. So what's a vowel that can come, yeah, sentence. What's a vowel that can come after E since Y also appears here and like makes sense in a four-letter word? Yeah, A. Here, it's not here because we already used H. We're saying with less something, so it's got to be a noun. Fear, yeah, because it's a noun. Oh, we already put this. Oh, that's a T. I misspelled that. Oh, U. Okay, I guess that's another common one, where they put U instead of YOU. Yeah, so I await your, this is also something that they might do using the wrong your, because like here it would be you are, but they mean the possessive your. So I await your sentence with less fear than you pass it. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's fine. The time will come when all will, wait. Okay, I think it's right. It's just weird because, wait. Hold on. Oh, I spelled this wrong. I see. The time will come when all will see what I see. All will see what I see. Okay, I'm even confusing myself. So it's supposed to be all will see what I see. Yeah, that was confusing. Okay, yeah, so we ran out of time a little bit. So I'll just like go over what's coming up next. Time looks like time. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to post these slides, or actually I already did, but I had like a Xenocrypt in the back. We really don't have to talk about it because it seems like only like 2 people took Spanish. So, it's not really worth it. You found the quote? Oh. So basically what I'll have for next time is like, I guess in a couple minutes, I'll post to the Google Classroom like a JSON file. And here, I'll just, I'll show what to do with a JSON file. So basically, I have this links on the event resources. You want to go to Codebusters or like tobe/codebusters/index.html, test manager, and then you go down and import test. And you select a file, and it has to be a JSON file. You basically plug it in here, and then like say you go to test pack. Yeah, like I wouldn't call it homework, but basically it's just like Aristocrat review. So basically you have it here. You can choose to like print it out, or I'll release a video on like how to take it online instead of printing it out and like type instead of writing. I'll send that on the Google Classroom too. But basically that's what you'll have. You'll just have a JSON file of like, I guess like 10 aristocrats, and I'll share a YouTube video on how to either print or do it online. All right, gonna end the recording here. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. See you next time. Next time we'll do Caesar and Apache. That was fun. Thanks. All right, see you.